Previously on The Greatest Estate Developer, our hero's genius designs have shattered the balance of the world's most powerful estates. But the system is fighting back, unleashing catastrophic failures and treacherous foes. The enemy closes in. The Merit's Wetlands toxic core just got a visit from the greatest estate developer in history, armed with a plan to terraform the toxic wasteland. Suho's eyes scan the desolate landscape, taking in the crumbling structures and the eerie silence. The air is thick with tension as the two men lock eyes. Viscount Lacona, that we are trespassing on your lordship's land. Lloyd Frontera's face remains impassive, but a spark of defiance flickers within his eyes. Viscount Lacona, cold calculation cannot replace the instincts of the land. You do well to remember that. Suho's gaze never wavers, but a subtle change in his posture betrays a hint of unease. Suho's eyes darted to the hamster, and he felt a strange sense of unease. He tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. The hamster simply blinked at him, expecting an answer. He took a deep breath and tried again. The hamster's words were starting to make sense, and Suho's eyes widened as he realized the gravity of their situation. They had to navigate the complex web of laws and regulations that governed land ownership in this world.
Any and all land that meets the requirements listed below.
And with a deep breath, Suho set his plan in motion, his hands scribbling furiously on a parchment. The scribbles would become a new system, one that would safeguard the Frontera family's estate and restore its former glory. The knight's words echoed in his mind, and then it hit him. The hamster, the one who had been quietly observing him from the shadows. And in the shadows, the giant hamster watched, its eyes glinting with an unnerving intensity. Suho took a deep breath. This was it, the moment of truth. Were they really coming for him? This was it, the final showdown with the Viscount's wrath. But amidst the celebration, Suho couldn't shake off the feeling that the Viscount was not one to be trifled with, and that their conflict was far from over. Meanwhile, in the Lacona Viscounty, where the balance of power was shifting like the sands of an ever-changing dune, Viscount Lacona's ambition was clear: to solidify his grip on the region and reap its rewards. A workshop, hidden away in a forgotten corner of the Viscounty, remained a secret haven for those seeking to defy the Viscount's authority. A few days later, a change was afoot. Viscount Lacona was once again on the move, his actions cloaked in mystery. The air was thick with tension as Viscount Lacona issued his commands, his words dripping with an air of command. Loyalty was being tested, and those who failed would face the full weight of the Viscount's displeasure. The village is on the brink of collapse, its very existence hanging by the thread of a single catastrophic failure. The cows have eaten themselves out of existence overnight, leaving behind a trail of devastation and a population on the edge of starvation. As the reality of the situation sets in, the villagers begin to panic, and the air is filled with the sound of desperate voices, each one pleading for a solution to their problems. With a deep breath, he charges forward, his sword flashing in the sunlight, ready to take on whatever challenges lie ahead. The fate of the world hangs in the balance, and the knight is the only one who can save it.
My son. Michael, the farm boy, turns to Suho, his voice cracking with worry. Hugh opens Slamac. The Lacona region's dying technology threatens our livelihood. Ms. Emily, the maid, speaks up, her voice filled with urgency. XX.
The village is at a crossroads, and Suho's innovative thinking is the only hope they have. Hack whack pant pant. With the fate of the village hanging in the balance, Suho's decision will shape the future of the Lacona region. The duel between Lloyd and Viscount Lacona reaches its climax as Lloyd's unorthodox tactics begin to take their toll on the Viscount.
Lloyd. Over.
The duel. What a rarity.
You doing? Being the Baron. Fool. I told you to go Blackma. You to Eltham. You're being. Well. My lord? Thing the Baron can do is to take us to court. With. Aristocrat.
Process. Nahana nahaha.
Wasteful. The water by our own means. We worked this land with our blood, sweat, and tears. W00000000.
With a bold plan, Suho sets out to solve the village's drinking water problem, leveraging his engineering knowledge to bring fresh water from upstream. The plan is set in motion, with construction underway to bring in the life-giving resource. The village's fate hangs in the balance, as the people await the fruits of Suho's labor.
Would be.
A few months later.
The wait is over, and the fruits of Suho's labor are finally within sight. The villagers gather to witness the unveiling of the new water infrastructure. As the sun rises over the village, the villagers anxiously await the outcome of Suho's creation. The air is thick with tension, the fate of their beloved homes hanging precariously in the balance.
What do you want? That Emily responds, her voice firm.
The crumbling dye workshop stands before them, a testament to the dire state of the Lacona region's economy. The weight of Suho's responsibility settles heavy on his shoulders. It took a calamity to create the estate's grand facade, but a catastrophe to inhabit its crumbling foundation. Suho Kim's civil engineering skills might have prepared him for the world's most daunting infrastructure projects, but nothing could have prepared him for this. The pipes laid down by Lloyd's family were a testament to their incompetence. No amount of engineering expertise could fix the foundation of this failing estate. Limestone, once a reliable resource, now lay exposed and vulnerable to the elements. The valley's floor was a sea of uncertainty, and Lloyd's family was about to take the plunge. Exposing the limestone bedrock was a reckless move, one that would have far-reaching consequences.
Why, you sneaky scoundrel? You good-for-nothing brat. Siam IW's words dripped with venom. Your problem.
Taking his leave, Siam IW stormed out of the workshop, leaving Lloyd's family to pick up the pieces.
Messed wrong with man.
The tension in the room was palpable, and Lloyd's family knew they had reached a breaking point.
There is something I do not understand, sir. What's that? Lloyd asked, his voice laced with confusion.
Suho Kim's world was turned upside down when he fell asleep reading his favorite fantasy novel. Now, he found himself in the body of Lloyd Frontera, a lazy noble with a mountain of debt. The conflict between the barony of Frontera and the viscountcy of Lacona was escalating by the day. The fate of the valley hung in the balance. Lloyd knew that he had to act fast to prevent a disaster. The valley was on the brink of disaster. The very thought of it was unbearable.
Sniaker.
Lloyd's inventions were his only hope, but they seemed to be failing him at every turn.
Over.
Lloyd's engineering brain began racing with ideas, but every solution he thought of seemed to have a fatal flaw, or a hidden cost that would only dig his family deeper into debt.
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about you, girl. I've been stuck in my head and I don't know what to do.
An orc tribe, nestled deep within the valley, their primitive structures a testament to the harsh environment they called home. Count Cremo, the ruler of the city of commerce Cremo, was known for his shrewd business sense and unwavering ambition. Count Cremo, the city's ruler, was known for his cunning and ruthlessness, and Lloyd knew he would stop at nothing to maintain his power. The city's residents, however, were growing increasingly desperate, and Lloyd sensed an opportunity to gain their trust and support.
Monster Gigataton, the creature roared, its massive form emerging from the shadows.
Betrayal lurks in every pact, and the great estate developer just sealed a potentially disastrous deal with his smallest crew, a move that could decide everyone's fate. His reputation is at stake, and so are the livelihoods of those who follow him into the unknown.
My own, the kindest and warmest person says softly, her voice a soothing balm in the face of uncertainty.
But even she can't shield Master Lloyd from his own self-doubt.
That man's only principle is money, she says quietly, her words a scathing indictment of the great estate developer's priorities.
And yet, despite the kindest and warmest person's reservations, the great estate developer remains resolute. As the sun beat down on Lloyd's back, relentless in its ferocity. He squinted, unsure of what to do next. But
you can't.
You? My dear sir, you've become addicted. If you don't do what I say, I could suspend my services.
Material into the ground to ramble, PMA cylindrical homogeneous solid body.
Join the Hari squad with a sub before the system crashes. As the system teeters on the edge of collapse, Suho's one last chance to save the Hari squad fades away like the last rays of sunlight on the horizon. Critics might say that Suho's approach is too cautious, too calculated. But for the Hari squad, small-minded thinking is what's needed to stay afloat in a sea of uncertainty. The kindest and warmest person in the world would trust him. But can Suho trust himself?
Do you have the heart to attack the problems head-on? Attack.
Master Lloyd's estate is teetering on the brink of collapse. His family's debt piling up like an insurmountable mountain. The weight of responsibility bears down on him, a crushing burden that threatens to consume him whole. The Hari squad's very survival hangs in the balance. The crumbling legacy of the once great Frontera family estate comes crashing down, a monolithic disaster befitting the incompetence of its master. Lloyd Frontera, the laziest noble in the land.
Himself noble. He can't even ride a horse and now he's snoozing. How annoying. And hit me. Incredible.
Sparks fly as the two combatants clash, their movements lightning fast.
What Javier really means, I admire your attitude to strive to learn what you don't know. What Lloyd really means, I'm going to work hard. Working hard is easy for me. Stop. You're so noisy. Rumors travel faster than words. Pin 6 rumors of you building the first waterworks on this continent is spreading fast. Splash, splash, splash. Your reputation as an engineer has increased. This means I can even bigger construction projects from now.
Reputation means money, and money means a sweet retirement. A golden future awaits.
Here I really has lost his mind. Those damned messages.
Midwinter, the season of hibernation, but Lloyd's mind was racing with the possibilities. Midwinter, the season of hibernation, but Lloyd's mind was racing with the possibilities.
Family, ha ha ha.
His nobility's laugh echoed through the chambers, a stark contrast to the desperation that gripped his family's finances. The sound of crashing glass filled the air as Lloyd's anger got the better of him.
Ha 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 ha, sir.
Lloyd's eyes widened in alarm, his mind racing with the implications of the noble's words.
In it, Javier becomes a wanted criminal after beheading the moneylender Shiloh and
The noble's laughter echoed once more, a cold sound that sent shivers down Lloyd's spine. The mermaid statue in the sea was a constant reminder of the city's decline. A symbol of the city's former glory, now a monument to its decay. The people seemed to have given up, and with them their will to rebuild. Lloyd's gaze fell on the nobles, their faces serene and unyielding, but Suho could see the faintest glimmer of desperation in their eyes. Their words were laced with disdain, and their tone was dripping with condescension. The speaker spat out the words, his anger palpable. Mind at ease. The speaker's eyes widened in surprise, and he let out a whoop of excitement. Hope! The nobles' faces turned red with rage, and they let out a collective shout. Splash! Suho's heart was racing as he scanned the seabed, his mind racing with calculations and possibilities. Suho's mind was racing, trying to keep up with the nobles' games, but he remembered the contract. Measurements. By the way, is the contract okay? Don't change the subject. The nobles exchanged a knowing glance, their eyes flicking to the contract. The noble's voice cut through the air. Master! Suho struggled to get back to his feet, his eyes scanning the area to assess the damage. He turned to face the noble, his expression grim, and began. I have something I mean to tell you. Flames engulfed the mansion, and I just placed the winning bid on its reconstruction.
My name.
Time stood still, waiting for the next move. But the silence was shattered by a curse.
Dash.
A figure burst into view, running for their life.
Proceed. Hold it right there, you monster.
A man caught off guard, froze in place. The words seemed to dance on the page, taunting him with their nonsensical promises. His gaze snapped up to the face of Count Cremo's daughter, Christine. Lloyd's eyes darted to the side, searching for an escape. Without much difficulty, Suho's engineering mind was already racing with new ideas as he scribbled down the history of Portland cement. The lazy noble, Lloyd, was determined to put his newfound knowledge to use, despite his family's dire financial situation. The hamster, Hamong, looked on with growing impatience as Lloyd's scribbling continued unabated. The tension was palpable as Lloyd waited with bated breath for the results. The silence was broken only by the sound of Lloyd's deep breathing as he waited for the verdict. The room seemed to hold its breath as Lloyd's eyes scanned the empty space. The hamster's lifeless body lay still in his arms. A lone tear rolled down Lloyd's cheek as he whispered a final farewell. The sound of his own voice was all that broke the silence. Lloyd's words hung in the air, a stark reminder of their impossible situation. The weight of their debt pressed down on him like a physical force. The hamster's lifeless body seemed to stare up at him, a haunting reminder of his failure.
Lloyd let out a frustrated cry, his eyes scanning the devastated landscape before him. The hamster's body lay still, as if mocking him. Suho's engineering mind kicked into high gear, searching for any scraps of information to salvage.
And then, in a cataclysmic flash of light, the volcano erupted from the earth, its fury unleashed upon the shattered landscape. Volcanic blast level in Ta9, the ground trembled, as if the very foundations of reality were shifting. Cremo's reputation is about to take a catastrophic nosedive, and this time, it's not just his words that are burning a hole in his pocket. The city of commerce just became a smoldering ruin, all in his name. Lloyd Frontera, aka, it's time for Lloyd to get down to business. The people's patience is wearing thin, and the creditors are closing in.
Suho's engineering mind is working overtime to come up with a solution to Lloyd's problems.
Catch the ash.
It's going to blow, literally. The people are advised to take immediate cover. The situation is about to take a drastic turn. With the volcano's fury unabated, Suho turns to his latest project, a canal system to divert the ash and protect the city. His unorthodox methods raise eyebrows among the engineers, but he's confident in his vision.
I've never heard of these techniques. And summoning creatures too.
The stakes are high, but Suho remains committed to his vision. He's convinced that his creation will change the fate of the city.
Wait a moment. They're working hard to deliver them.
Lloyd Frontera, the reluctant noble, stood idly by as his knight, presumably a seasoned warrior, escorted him.
Javier.
The weight of debt hung heavy over the Frontera family like a dark cloud. Javier's enthusiasm was infectious, but the gravity of their situation couldn't be ignored. With Javier's unwavering optimism and Lloyd's resourcefulness, the future wasn't entirely bleak. Slam-dramatic entrances aside, Lloyd planned to design an infrastructure project that would change the course of Frontera history.
Cement. 9H196LV6. The math checks out. The steel frame will be hardened.
If his inventions could somehow mitigate the effects of the volcanic ash, he might be able to alter the course of history. But it's not just Lloyd's skills that are being put to the test, it's also his attitude.
It's ash. The public is talking, and Lloyd needs to be prepared for the pressure.
The stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. Can he truly deliver on his promise and make a lasting impact on the city? As Lloyd's inventions start to take shape, the city's residents are beginning to take notice. Everyone's eyes are on Lloyd, and he's starting to feel the pressure. The crowd's attention was a double-edged sword, and Lloyd was stuck in its crosshairs.
Ha! Because space. Ha! Guckle Guckle, why does this guy always follow up with a two-hit combo?
Javier's antics were starting to grate on Lloyd's nerves. Lloyd's heart sank as he realized the true extent of his mistake. A massive wave loomed on the horizon, threatening to capsize the platform.
Swash.
The wave crashed against the platform, sending Lloyd stumbling back. Chaos erupted as the crew scrambled to regain control.
Our natural enemy.
The implications were dire, and Lloyd's world was turned upside down. The mermaid's words hung in the air like a challenge. As the platform teetered on the brink of disaster, Lloyd knew he had to act fast. The sound of pickaxes striking stone echoed through the valley, and Cremo's voice carried on the wind. Cremo, not a single stone is too heavy. But was it enough? Javier's loud, booming voice cut through the din, his words fueled by a manic energy. The city just vanished, leaving behind a cryptic monolith, Greatest He, a name that spoke to an era of unparalleled ambition, now reduced to nothing more than a haunting relic. Ai's voice cuts through the air, a jarring note in the otherwise tranquil landscape.
I.e., are you ignoring me?
Lloyd Frontera, the supposed lord of this forsaken estate, stands frozen, as still as a statue or something.
Oh, that.
But what lies ahead, amidst the ruins of a lost city, will only be revealed when the true mastermind behind Greatest He steps into the light. And then, without warning, the world erupts into chaos.
Oh, Lloyd, Count. Oh, Lloyd, our Count.
The patrons turn to face Lloyd, their eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and hostility. We must come to some sort of agreement, one of them growled. This isn't a place for a noble, much less a drunk one.
I do not, my lord.
Sir Genovan's eyes narrowed. Sir. Master Stat, the tavern keeper, spoke up. Is senses, my lord. The air was thick with tension as Sir Genovan's gaze locked onto Lloyd. The Hari squad rushed to aid Lloyd as he stumbled upon the impending disaster. A statue loomed ahead, surrounded by boats that threatened to collide. Lloyd's voice rang out, echoed by the frantic sound of horns and shouting. He yelled,
Me.
He ordered the crew to raise the anchors. Get the boats away from the statue. Lloyd's voice trembled, urgency gripping him. The boats responded sluggishly, their momentum too great to stop quickly. Splash after splash echoed through the bay.
Flynn 6.
His leap seemed to defy gravity as he sprang towards the water. Splash, the impact of Lloyd's body hitting the waves. Suho's makeshift bridge teeters on the edge, the waters below a swirling vortex of chaos. One misstep could doom the entire effort.
Snar. Mobile Aya. Ga.
The massive hamster leapt into the fray, its jaws wide open as it charged towards Suho's enemy. The ground shook beneath their feet as the battle raged on.
Mumi. W0000SH. Wise.
The chaos was at its peak, with Lloyd's family watching in horror as their son struggled to stay afloat.
Pab.
A glimmer of hope emerged as Suho managed to create a makeshift raft from the damaged bridge.
Slam. Sam.
As the clock ticked down, Suho knew he had to act fast. Every second counted in Lloyd's desperate bid to save the kingdom from financial ruin.
Crash Bam.
The massive machine hurtled towards the bridge, its destructive power palpable.
Master. The Gigatitoning towards TH. E. We must stop.
The people were counting on Lloyd, and he couldn't let them down. His plan was about to reach its critical point, and the consequences hung in the balance. The estate developer has unleashed a catastrophe upon the kingdom. His masterpiece has turned the entire realm into a frozen, unforgiving sea. Panic spreads like wildfire as desperate souls cling to whatever debris they can find. The stakes are dire, survival hangs by a thread. A voice whispers in the wind, outlining a desperate plan to salvage the future.
E can make IE hear money.
A look of determination sets in as the figure begins to rally the people, piecing together the fragments of their shattered lives. The city's desperate efforts to stem the tide of the catastrophic flooding give way to a shattering realization. The sea is not the only force bearing down upon them. I saw a resolve to not give up. The fire that burned within you was a beacon of hope in a world that seemed doomed. You didn't turn your back on those who were struggling. Your compassion and empathy were traits that set you apart. But
Rational thinking. To do.
the words echoed in his mind, a reminder that clear-headed thinking was essential in the face of chaos.
In the end.
The frozen horizon beckoned, Suho Lloyd Frontera's eyes fixed on the sea of troubled waters. The cold waves churned with an eerie silence. Lloyd Frontera's shoulders tensed. His gaze drifted back to the shore, the weight of his family's debt settling in like a physical burden. Lloyd Frontera's eyes narrowed as the landscape twisted and contorted beneath his feet, the ground shuddering with a low rumble. Lloyd Frontera's eyes narrowed as the landscape twisted and contorted beneath his feet, the ground shuddering with a low rumble. A colossal form loomed before Lloyd Frontera, a twisted, nightmarish shape that seemed to writhe and twist like a living thing. OCR dialogue. The ground trembled with a deafening stomp, Lloyd Frontera's form shuddering with the impact. Suho's mind worked furiously to devise a plan, utilizing Lloyd's knowledge of the Frontera estate to create a makeshift pulley system. The hamster, sensing the gravity of their situation, began to move with renewed purpose. The tide raged on, the waves growing more turbulent as they wrestled with the precarious balance. Suho's solution teetered on the brink of disaster, a ticking time bomb waiting to unleash its fury. The landscape ahead seemed to shift and writhe as Suho's plan took hold. The wooden structure groaned under the strain, but it held. The group's desperation was palpable, and the hamster's labored breathing filled the air. The sound of his own ragged breathing filled Suho's ears as he forced himself to stay focused. "Construction related," he muttered to himself.
Construction related.
The wooden structure lay in tatters, its remains scattered across the beach. Suho's face was set in a grim determination. The waves crashed against the shore, sending foam and spray high into the air. Suho's eyes narrowed as he began to think of a new solution. A fearsome roar shook the air as the creature counterattacked, determined to crush Suho beneath its massive paws. This was no ordinary battle. It was a clash of titans, with the fate of the world hanging precariously in the balance. Grash's stronghold is on the brink of collapse, its foundations shattered by an unforgiving fate. The walls are cracked, the gates are breached, and the entire structure teeters on the edge of chaos. Only one possible outcome remains: unmitigated disaster.
Yeah,
The pressure builds, and Lloyd's thoughts become a jumble of frustration and desperation.
Yes. It's because Master Lloyd came back. With coming back,
that's in its simulation mode, where there's a fourth spot. If we strike Shadow and...
Lloyd's thoughts are a jumble of conflicting priorities and limited resources.
Masty what? Lloyd. We do.
Lloyd's hand instinctively goes for the knife at his belt, a reckless habit he's trying to break. Jovi's words echo in his mind, a constant reminder of the dangers of his past life. A horn sounds in the distance, its piercing tone cutting through the air. Suho's eyes snapped open, and he found himself in a body that wasn't his own. His mind reeled as he tried to wrap his head around the situation. He was Lloyd Frontera, a noble with a mountain of debt to his name. The sound of screeching metal filled the air as Suho activated the chainsaw. It was a risk, but one that could pay off in a big way. The room was a blur of motion as Suho worked tirelessly. He was determined to make this work. The sound was deafening as the chainsaw cut through the air. It was a force to be reckoned with. The room was a whirlwind of motion as Suho worked the chainsaw. He was a master of his craft. The shockwave dissipated, leaving behind an eerie silence. In the distance, the sound of rocks tumbling echoed through the air. Suho's eyes locked onto the horizon as a small figure emerged from the dust cloud. The figure was none other than his trusty knight, Sir Valoric. Suho's eyes locked onto the boulder, his mind racing for a solution. In a flash of inspiration, Suho leapt into action, his hands moving with lightning speed.